Hi, guys. Happy holidays and welcome to Clips with the Coalition. We are the Nebraska Culture Change Coalition, also known as the NECCC. Please subscribe to our website at www.necccoalition.org to receive upcoming information about Clips with the Coalition and our Coffee with the Coalition. You can also find us on Facebook. Today, we are going to discuss the topic of taste and how to help people negotiate the food choices. So I will let us take it away.
Wonderful and happy holidays to everyone. Jeff and I were just talking earlier about different cultures, different ethnic origins. And so, for example, some different cultures, they may not even celebrate the Christmas season. Therefore, maybe the food will not appeal to them. It doesn't mean they're not hungry. It means that those types of food just aren't appealing to that person based on their ethnicity. That's such a tough word to say, isn't it? So, at any rate, what I say is we're all about food and celebration during the holidays, but to be mindful of the background of individuals and try to honor and respect what their choices are. Jeff?
Yeah, and for me, it's maybe a little bit different perspective because I've got, a mother that's aging, and we grew up in a family where food was central to us and everything that we did, every gathering, and it was really good tasting food. And as she ages, she runs into situations where it is being suggested to her pretty strongly that she needs to look at lower calorie content, lower sugar intake, lower sodium, lower saturated fats, and you start to pull all that out of your meals. Where do you get your taste? And so, yeah, I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say about how or if you honor those types of suggestions.
Yeah, Anna and Jeff, you both bring up very good points. That's one of the things that I always talked about when I taught classes was, not everybody celebrates Christmas and not everybody eats the same foods we eat. And so we need to be taking a look at that individual and finding foods for them. And if we know they're not going to eat the sugar cookies at Christmas, well, then don't offer it to them. Give them something that they want. And Jeff, you speak about your mother, and of course, I have three sisters, and we're all in healthcare. One's an RN, one's a physical therapist, one's a social worker. I'm a social worker slash administrator, long-term care administrator. And when we got together this last Thanksgiving, we had the same issue that my dad wanted Diet Pop. Well, Pop makes him swell. His ankles get really big, and I believe that's what happens to your mom as well. And, he shouldn't have this and he shouldn't have that. And, and it's like, okay, Dad's 90 years old. If I give him Diet Pop, he's gonna swell. That's what he wants. Does it really matter at 90 years old? And don't we want him to enjoy the holidays with us? Plus, aren't we all
We're all doing it too. Yeah. That
It-
we deal with that whole we're all partaking, and I don't know about your house, but at our house at the holidays there's just lots of food out that normally I would not have those kinds of things out. And we all know that people eat better when things look better. When something looks appetizing, you're way more likely to eat it. And now we've got all these goodies just kind of strewn about, and it makes people want them a lot more, or they see something. My dad is a big Diet Coke fan too, and so if we're all having a Diet Coke, he's gonna want one and he can put them down. And so same problems, but you know, at 90, are we really concerned about what people are putting in their body on a daily, should we be concerned, I guess, on a daily basis about what people are putting in?
I agree with you, Kristen. We talk a lot about quality of life and what brings people joy. And if it's quality of life for someone to have those things controlled because they've always, eaten really healthy and all the things, and they want to continue that, then yeah, let's honor that. But if it's not quality of life for somebody to not be able to eat the things that they love, even yes, I'm a nurse, but even diabetics, like it's way easier to get your sugar down than it is to get it up. And if it's quality of life for you to have a piece of pie with your meal, then let's do that. I think we have to really know that person well and figure out what it is that they want and find out a way to make that happen. And I know that's way easier said than done. But I promise you, if you can figure out a way to do it, that the people that you care for will eat better. They will sleep better. They will enjoy life a lot more. It'll be easier for you to take care of them, and they will be happier. Food is everything. And like you said, Kristen, like we're out there doing it. So then why, when they come into a community, do we say you have to go into this box, right? And you have to eat a no salt, no sugar diet. Like
We go to our doctors all the time and they'll say
right.
something and we're like, yeah, right.
Well,
I'll try.
yeah, well, and then we deal with the whole issue of, well, they're losing weight. Well, of course they're losing weight because
Food.
if I had to eat bland food all the time, and it's a natural part of our aging process that as we age, our taste buds change.
Mhm.
And so sometimes we have to use a few more spices in our food. It may be too spicy for us, but for that individual, it may taste just right. And so, we need to be thinking about that and considering that, because losing the weight is not good.
Yeah. One of the, you talked about taste buds changing, and it just kind of made me think so my dad has dementia, and what I noticed is, we have a lot of, sauces or things that we put on stuff or those kinds of things, and he wouldn't know. I think the taste buds just aren't there for him to know, ketchup goes on French fries and not ice cream or whatever. But if it's out, he will, if it's there, he might mix those kinds of things up. And I know some people are, not sensitive to that. It all goes to the same place, so to speak. But I, for one, am not one of those people. And so I'm very careful to make sure that I'm helping him through the, if we're doing buffet style, I'm helping him through that food line so that he's picking the right stuff and putting the right things together, because it just bugs me and it might not. But I think it really comes down to, I see that as quality of life for him. He might not care, but I don't want that to be a differentiator for him.
Yeah.
Well, and Denise, if you don't mind, I just want to piggyback off of that a little bit and then I'll be quiet. One of the things that I also noticed too is that how overwhelming all the food can be for an older adult at the holiday season. And that's one of the things that I noticed with my husband, who also has a diagnosis of dementia, is I have now, when we're going through buffet lines, I go first because he watches what I do. And if I'm putting the ketchup on my hamburger, for example, then he knows to put ketchup on his hamburger. Or one of the places had like I think they call them like rice bowls. You put your rice in and then you put your meat in and then whatever else you wanted. Well, he couldn't quite understand that concept, so I went through first. And then I would also point out, like he likes onions. I don't like raw onions. So then I'd say, oh, honey, I said, there's raw onions here. Would you like onions in your rice bowl? And then he would be able to say, yeah. And then he'd put it on. So that's something else to keep in mind. Okay, I'm done now.
Well, I just wanted to say for the audience's thing. I was part of the dining practice standards development team for the Pioneer Network. So there are some dining practice standards that cover a lot of what you talk about. The idea that everybody should be on a regular diet. The idea of low sodium and low sugar and all that just creates a bland diet, which means people won't eat it, which means they lose weight. And if they lose weight and they're taking pharmaceuticals, which I'm a pharmacist, I know that they need to have food in their system and the right kinds of electrolytes and everything so that they can actually manage the medications internally so they do what they need to do. The other thing I want to say is that taste also involves sight and it involves smell. So part of our tasting starts when we see the food and when we smell the food and then we have the taste of it. So one of the things that I have always been working with teams on is like, how do you get the smells of food cooking close to the elders so that they know, oh, oh, now my appetite's starting to come up. Now I'm kind of interested in eating, right? And if we plate the food so it looks interesting and it's not all gray and gluttonous, whatever, gelatinous, people are more interested in eating it. So I love when people put the different sauces and the colors, just like you do at the restaurant, and they basically paint the plate before they put the food on with all this different stuff and these spices that you're talking about and sauces and stuff. I think that really just makes it interesting, and it's not expensive to do, and it doesn't take a lot of time, but that's how we genuinely care for people to make sure they're getting the nutrition they need.
And I think what we've all highlighted is just to be sensitive to everyone's unique needs, choices, wants, especially during the holidays. So being proactive is so good. This is a great conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think that, we don't always eat the way that we do during the holidays. And so that's another thing to point out. When people aren't eating what they would typically eat, we might see different responses, reactions, behaviors, those kinds of things come out because, we've all had that moment where we're stuffed because we've eaten too much and everything in moderation, but figuring out where those balances are and some of those things. So sometimes, people might have health issues that come out because of the holidays as well.
Good point.
I wanted to add too that really just like giving your team permission to be in tune with what people like and what they're eating, or if they say like, oh, this sounds good, I haven't had this for a long time, and then like finding a way to get that for that person. So like we order groceries once a week and I go around and ask every resident, like, is there something you really want this week? And sometimes I get some stuff, sometimes I get like, oh, make that thing you made last week. And we make all our meals right in the kitchen, which is open to our dining room. So our folks can smell and see everything that's going on. But the other thing I wanted to say too is just because it's a meal time doesn't mean that people have to eat. We may cook meals like 6 times a day. And that's just how it is. And we're not in the routine of just saying, okay, it's 8, we got to sit down and eat breakfast. It's 12, we got to sit down. We have people that sleep until 10:30 and they get up and eat breakfast at 10:30 and then we eat lunch at 3 and then they may or may not eat supper. They may have a snack or they may eat it at 8. And so really just if you have a way to be able to know that about the people, being tuned with that, especially if you have somebody that was like a night shift worker or like just hasn't eaten 3 meals a day their whole life, just knowing that. And then my team's so good about like texting me and they're like, hey, we gave this to so-and-so today and they ate it all and they said they really love it. And so like, can you order more of that? We go through like 5 bags of cheese puffs a week, like the giant bags. And that's just because it's become a snack and a staple and everybody loves it. And so like, if we can get that in people, then that's what we do. Is it healthy? No. Does it bring them joy? Absolutely. So just giving
some nutritional value in there somewhere
to be in tune and to really like listen for those things and then advocate for that person and say, hey, this is a way to get this person to eat.
I love that you brought up the not eating 3 times a day and then kind of forcing that on them. I think about it myself. I don't eat 3 meals a day, but yet like when we go on vacation or something, you kind of feel like you have to have 3 and then you're miserable. So if someone forced 3 meals a day on me for the rest of my life, I'd be miserable. I'm a
Yeah.
snacker.
Yeah.
Well, and I also like it too that when I was talking to Kelly a little while ago, she also brought up if a person wants happy hour at 9 a.m., that's when you have happy hour. It's about the individual and their
Let's talk
quality.
somewhere.
I have a gal right now that is she's just been used to having wine with like her lunch and supper. And so like she has a glass of wine with lunch and supper. It just, I mean, why not? If that helps her to eat, brings her quality of life, makes her feel relaxed, like, you know, why not? And generally it's a chain reaction, like, oh, well, I would like a glass of wine. I would like a glass of wine. And you know, so whatever, everybody's chill and having their wine and eating their meal, and it's fancy and it's fun and it's, you know, whatever.
And they're happy. They're happy. That's what it's about. Quality of life for them.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I know that the holidays kind of bring out a variety of different things. We hope that this was helpful as you go into the holiday season, and we hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Thanks.
Bye.
Happy holidays.